There's a lot to cover tonight, so instead of my normal format, this will be more of a news/rambling type of video. First though, the big news, Patty Kane. I'm a New York Rangers fan. This is a story I've obviously been following very closely. The Patrick Kane saga is a really interesting one because he's been tied to New York for several years now, largely because of his relationship with Artemi Panarin. Obviously, this has been a down year for Kane. There's been concerns about his injury, but I don't know. For me, I wonder whether his decline, I mean, it's hard to say that after the recent few games he's had, is due to maybe a lack of motivation or just a drop in teammate quality. Either way, the discussion was obviously put on the back burner somewhat after the New York Rangers acquired Vladimir Tarasenko. There was that interview, of course, where Kane was openly disappointed about Tarasenko being traded to the Rangers. There was rumors that he also wanted to go to the Leafs. That was suggested to be false, and it seems like he wants to go to New York so badly that Chicago's really trying to get something done here. A lot of reliable hockey insiders and also RA have suggested that the trade is almost done. The Rangers will obviously have to do a little bit of cap finagling. It's hard for me to really judge any potential deal, but I will say the Rangers are in such a good situation here, given the fact that Chicago has no leverage, Kane has no trade clause, he only wants to go one place it seems, that it could be a pretty favorable deal. Kane obviously helps the Rangers if he can play like we think he can with scoring and possession. I assume they'll want to put him on a line with Panarin and someone who can check well. However, the Rangers are also in a strange position because I don't want to say they're on a slide, but they've not been playing very well in the past 5 games after a phenomenal start to 2023. Shesterkin has not looked like himself, the defense has had issues, and Kane is not going to help with either of those things. Still, it seems like the Rangers are almost certainly going to get him without having to give too much. They will, however, have to get a third team involved to retain salary, goodbye draft picks. But yeah, all in all, very interesting. The other really big thing that I wanted to talk about tonight is the race for the Eastern wild card. Now, there's between 20 and 25 games left for pretty much every team in the league, and I'm just going to put the standings up on screen right now. There are realistically 7 teams who could potentially get the wild card spot. I think more realistically, there's 4, but the key number to look at here is points percentage because teams have played up to 5 more games than others. The Sabres played tonight and they took down Florida. That moved them from, I think they were 6th all the way up to 2nd in the wild card. That's how tight things are right now. If you look at points percentage, it's Detroit and Buffalo getting in, and 3 weeks ago, Pittsburgh and Washington were right up there. That's just how much things have swung. I'll just give my thoughts about each team. I think Washington, with their trades, have acknowledged that they're not in the playoffs. Same with Ottawa. I think the future is bright for that team, especially if they can get a new stadium set up this year. Probably not. Florida, I think, is artificially high because of their games played, and that's also the same with the Islanders. Florida obviously took a big step back this year. The Islanders, I don't know. I just don't feel great about. They did, however, in the past month, get wins against Pittsburgh twice. They've lost some bad ones as well. I thought Bo Horvat would make the team more interesting, and maybe he will, but he's been pretty quiet, going pointless in 3 of the past 5 games, with about 4 goals since joining the Islanders. I don't know. The conversation's not as important given the fact that he's been re-signed. Pittsburgh is my choice for one of the wild card spots. I think most likely they get in and that Detroit does not. Although, to be honest, my dream entries would be Detroit and Buffalo. I mean, how cool would it be for both of those teams to get back in the playoffs after both going off a bit of a drought? I mean, especially Buffalo. And right now, the Red Wings and the Sabres do have the best playoff math. However, both teams also do have difficult schedules coming up. Buffalo, for example, has Boston twice, Carolina, New Jersey twice, the Rangers 3 times. I don't know. The race in the East is really interesting, and where it seems like the 2 divisions are pretty much locked up, I personally am focusing really on those 2 wildcard spots. I actually don't think the West is going to move from how it is right now, and Calgary, what a disappointing season for them. Let's just assume that my predictions are right and take a look at what the potential bracket will be. We'll put Buffalo in the first wildcard and Detroit in the second. That would be the Bruins against the Red Wings, Toronto against Tampa, Carolina against Buffalo, and the Rangers versus the Devils. That would be interesting. Then in the West, we would have, and this one is really reaching because the divisional rankings in the West definitely could change. I mean, look at the point totals. But anyway, that would put Dallas against Seattle, Vegas against Colorado. That would be a really fun series. Winnipeg against Minnesota, and a rematch, LA versus Edmonton. Of all of those matchups and what could be an explosive first round, which would you like to see most? Let me know all of your thoughts on on this, also the Patrick Kane situation, down below.